if all of the NBA players walked off, the amount of revenue loss that would generate for the owners of those franchises and the television rights and all of that kind of stuff, the only ones that would actually benefit with that would actually be ESPN, because they would be talking about it all the time. Literally, it would collapse that industry because of the value that those players bring because of their skill on the floor. With women's basketball, I can kind of understand why it's 9% versus 51%, because there's other elements that have had to go into making that a watchable sport. Hey guys, Twisted View, Leland Conway, Benjamin Allbright. Here's my man, Christian Toto. If you got suggestions for us, we would love to hear from you. It's IHateLeland@twistedview.com. We really don't care, but go ahead and put it there anyway. And follow us where you get all of your podcasts. All right, let's jump right into it, fellas. Starting off with dating today. Benjamin, you had an experience. You're the single bachelor among us. We're the two old married dudes. Mm-hmm. You had an experience.
Worst date of my life.
Yeah. What happened?
Just worst date of my life. I've never cut a date short before.
Was it really the worst date in all of your life?
Absolutely.
How old
100% worst date. I am 44.
Okay, so 44 years, it was your worst date.
I wasn't dating for the first,
You took a pause from
14 or so. But yeah, it's the worst date.
Tell us about it.
It was just a bad date. It was there was no connection there. The woman was probably a little too young for me. At 44, I think 28 is probably a little too young. And she did not. We were not connecting, but
that's okay.
It was. We went to a nice restaurant, and there was sort of, I don't want to say there was a scene, but this person was like claiming that somebody was eyeballing them in the restaurant, and I'm like, this is not that kind of restaurant. This is not that kind of neighborhood. It was, I don't know. So I faked a stomachache and took her home.
You literally ended the date.
Yeah. I got right.
So she thought somebody else in the restaurant was eyeballing her, like another girl. Like, this is going to be a cat fight.
Another girl is, I don't know if she
What would be the purpose of that?
I don't know if she thought the other girl, I think she was trying to make it seem like the other girl thought she was hotter and was being, catty about it.
Wow.
That's what she was trying to make it sound like to me.
Okay.
And I was just like, this is utterly ridiculous.
Wow.
After I went full old man in the.
Was she hot?
My date?
Yeah.
Yes, she was attractive.
Yes. Okay. All right. So she's attractive, but apparently knows it. And is trying to get you.
I think there was a little bit of that. Yeah. And I'm not one of those people that like acknowledges that right away. Like, obviously I find you attractive, we wouldn't be on a date, but I don't want to, I'm trying to find out about you. I'm not trying to make this a surface level, thing.
Yeah. You're trying to get to know the actual person.
So I try not to sit there and if you're a guy and you're sitting there gawking at a girl, then that's not putting you guys on an equal playing field.
Yeah, right.
Like trying to figure stuff out. So, it wasn't a thing. So learn my lesson.
So that's Gen Z, late Gen Z, right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you heard of the Gen Z stare?
No,
So there was an article about this in Vice.
I just heard about this. Go ahead.
Yes.
This is fascinating.
It's fascinating. It's that there's a whole generation of people that really have trouble communicating with other people. And like examples of it abound at Starbucks or whatever, and you're buying your coffee and they just don't make any direct eye contact with you. And they have this sort of blank, distant, weird stare. And I've encountered this. It's almost like they're just not fully there. It's like they've been in the digital world. They come out to do the thing they have to do in the real world, but they don't know how to do the thing in the real world.
That's amazing.
Like it's frightening, actually.
Do they try to swipe you? Like,
swipe left. I don't like you.
I'm trying to get my coffee.
Yeah.
But that plays back into something we talked about on our previous show about young guys that haven't asked women out, in person.
Right.
So there is. I would imagine there's some truth. I haven't encountered that per se, but now I'm going to be on the lookout for it.
Right.
So now if you're on a bad day, do you have like a built-in excuse like, I'm going to have a buddy call me at half hour in?
That's played. I did the stomach. I was having a stomach ache. Let me take you home. We'll do some other time.
Perfect. The stomach is vague.
You're right.
You can mention it. It comes up out of the blue. It's perfect.
It's a lie, but it's a white lie.
Yeah.
So question. Why not just tell the truth? Ooh. I don't feel a connection here. I think we should probably
I didn't want her to cause a scene in the restaurant or in my car.
Did you feel?
So I've had,
Did you feel like she would have?
I didn't know. I don't know this person well enough to know because I didn't. This is one of those instances where it was, hey, you want to go get a drink sometime, waitress, kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
So I've had a date before where somebody it was a bad date, but I rode the date out. She got a little drunk on the date, and it was
Right.
not
Sure.
attractive.
Sure.
Took her back, drop her off at her place, and she said, like, when are you going to call me again? When are you going to call me? And I was like, probably not. And that was the wrong answer. And then so she kicked her high heels and like my windshield and the leather on the.
Really?
Oh my
Gosh.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So I did some damage to my.
Further backing up your decision as being the right one.
Yeah, I was like, this is really selling me right now. I had to pick her up and carry her. Her neighbors were standing outside. I had to pick her up and carry her to her front door because she refused to leave my car. That was
Wow.
Yeah, this was several years ago.
Yeah.
But anyway, so. I didn't want damage to my car. I don't know this person. I didn't.
I don't want damage to my car.
I was just like, it's just easier to do it this way, and it spares feelings, and and all that kind of stuff. So,
and she knows.
I mean, I didn't call her, so she knows. But I mean, this is it's one of those. It's the nature of the. I mean, we're in such a digital world, and being on these apps and all this stuff.
I'm sorry, that date was worse than the girl you had to carry out physically.
Yeah,
kicking
that's a
and
question.
Screaming. I'm gonna call
it was
foul on your
worse
worst
in
date.
that like the girl who got too drunk, we were having a good time. She just overdid it, and it kind of thing, and then it became unattractive. This was a person that was like, you're an attractive physically person, but you are not an attractive person,
right? Right.
Like
inside,
it's grating to be with you.
Yeah, that's also a bad sign. So, with this, what is a good way to extricate yourself from a situation like that where you get into maybe it's a blind date and it's not what you expected, or as is more and more I'm hearing about people that will connect on, say, Instagram or something, and with heavy filter use.
Yeah, and that is the bane of my existence. Oh, yes, I've absolutely had that.
You're like, you do not look at all like what was on there.
Yeah, and I've had a bunch
because they're
of
getting
that.
a thing now where they're narrowing their cheeks and they're
eyes.
sharpening their jawbone.
I've gotten to the point where I can tell.
Right.
Like I've done this so long. Like you get the cartoony eyes, and that's kind of the way to tell.
Nobody's eyes look like that.
If they have a perfect complexion, I mean, I'm sorry, like nobody has a perfect complexion.
Right.
So that's the sort of thing. So I even have it in my dating profile, like, ladies, don't use your filters. I want to, we want to know, we want to see the real you kind of thing. But it's frustrating because I've had somebody show up and I'm like, dude, if I sent you a picture of Brad Pitt, you would be upset if I showed up on your date. What are you doing sending me something that isn't you?
There's this hilarious meme on Instagram where like this girl walks up and she knocks on the door, and obviously it's set up because nobody else would be out in the hallway filming this, right? But the guy comes to the door. She's 6'8", like legit.
Oh my gosh.
And legit kind of attractive, but still 6'8", and he's like 5'2", and he's like, he comes to the door and he's like, oh, no, and he just shuts the door, and she's like, wait, what's wrong?
See, I don't have any problem. Okay, I don't have any problem.
He's
with being
looking to
tall.
see if anybody's listening.
I'm 5'10". I don't have any problem with her being taller than me, right? We're all the same height laying down. But I like that's not a thing. But if you are 50 pounds heavier than your profile picture, and oh, by the way, you sent this picture of this, it's so digitally
or your profile
edited.
picture is 10 years old.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's so digitally edited with these filters that it's not you. I've had one of those. I have a rule that, like, if a girl asks me out, I'll go out on the date, even if there's not anything there. I'll do it at least because I know how hard it is a man to generate a conversation out of thin air and go ask somebody. I know how
it's difficult.
So I'll go meet them and experience that and see. But, in these kind of situations, like with those, extricating myself is really just, I'm getting through this, and then,
That's a cyanide caplet, right?
Yeah, I'm not James Bonding it or anything, but no, it takes a lot for me to like pull the ripcord like I did, a few weeks ago. But there are situations.
Okay.
Wow.
Dating a woman taller than you, is that weird for anybody here?
Does not bother. We're all the same height laying down. Doesn't bother me.
Sorry, he's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
I'm okay, but doesn't happen often for me. So
Right. How tall are you?
I'm 5'10".
Okay.
Does not bother
I'm
me.
6'1", so it's
You probably. I mean, it's tougher for you to find.
It's pretty tough for me to find a woman that's taller. But I'm not gonna lie, and again, I'm not in that market anymore. I've been happily married for 20 years. But if I were in that market, I would probably find it somewhat attractive because it's different. And I've never been attracted to the Barbie type. I want. Like, my wife is beautiful, but she looks different than any other woman that I ever dated. I mean, she's beautiful. To me, she's gorgeous. But I think that's interesting, right? It's interesting. Oh, you're 6'5" and you're female, right? Like, you play in the WNBA, which we'll talk about in a minute. That's attractive. It's kind of cool. It may not be the first thing I would gravitate to, but I know a lot of guys have a real hang up on that. If she's taller than you, can't date her.
It's interesting because, like, and being on these apps, I'll say this, like women, guys lie about their height. This is women lying with the filters. Guys lying about. If you're listening, right? Meet Uncle Ben. I'm not the race guy. Over here at camera 2. Do not lie about your height. I literally have this on my profile. Like the only guy the internet doesn't like, because like I show up and I'm 5'10", and they're like, oh, I was expecting somebody like 5'8", 5'6", because like all you guys lie and say you're 6'4".
Add 2 inches.
I'm like, what's the point? Like
anytime it has to do with inches, we lie about it.
If you're dating somebody, that's fair. That's fair. I always check to make sure the weather forecast is a woman or a man. You know, when they claim 8 inches of snow. Right. Look, if you're a guy, don't lie about it. Don't you have, because then you have to show up and be that. And if you're not, you've started off on a disappointing.
That's what I don't understand.
There's an art to all of this. Like with the pictures on the profile. I mean, to catch up. Like the guys that put their best picture first, or the girls that put their best picture first, and then it goes downhill from there as you get the other pictures. I'm like, don't do that. Put a third best picture first. Then so it goes up, so they're not like looking through, and then they get worse and worse. Like
just make sure the first one's good enough to get them to swipe.
Obviously, you would. There's one you're third most confident in, or second most confident. Like don't. If you're a woman, don't put a bunch of your hot friends in there in the photo with you. Put you in there. If you're a guy, don't put your buddies that are taller than you in the photos with you. I mean, these are simple things I would think, but apparently not.
Yeah.
Just amazing. Also, if you lie about your height, you have to kind of stay on your tiptoes.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great for
wear lifts the rest of your life.
It's great for a calves workout. I mean, you can a couple dates.
And then those calves are glorious.
There you go.
I'm just saying.
Christian has great calves.
If anything that you say or anything that you has to become true and then be true perpetually. So what, are you going to wear lifts the rest of your life, pretending you're 6 feet when you're not? Like
that's the thing. I think that I don't understand people that do like. I guess a face filter I get. Okay, I understand. You're trying to give yourself the best complexion. I'm not so worried about that. It's when you start to alter the shape.
Yeah.
Or the size of other things. Like that's weird. But I feel like if you alter yourself that much, that it's not an accurate physical representation of generally what you look like.
Right.
To your point, I don't understand why you would do that, because it's gonna get found out.
You started the date on disappointment.
Yeah, it's also the first impression is, that's not what I was told.
Right. First impressions are critical. And that's the thing. And for everybody right now that's going, it's superficial based on looks. What do you think you're swiping on when you're on that
Which is why, by the way, I'm glad I'm not in that world anymore, because I am literally the least photogenic indivial that ever walked
whatever. You
the
got
planet.
some great shots of you on the mouth. I see your Facebook, man.
You have to work really hard for those. But
Leland's like, I got 10 filters.
But it is. It's like it's horrible. And it's like today, what percentage would you say of dating is predicated from online meeting first versus back in the day, you had to physically, you think it's hard now to communicate. You had to actually go someplace to meet the girl.
Yeah. You had to find her to begin with.
You had to find her to begin with.
Finding them for you, that kind of stuff. You had to go, you had to be at the bar, be at church, wherever you're,
what percentage do you think is now completely
a large
tied to,
portion? I would say probably 80%, and that might be conservative. Just I would say significant, because the profile is always working for you 24 hours a day. You never know, somebody's on a late shift, an early shift. That profile is always working for you.
Also, like all the fish are in the same part of the pond. Right? You know what I mean? Like it's like if there's like a super hot guy that would have liked my wife and she would have liked too, but he doesn't show up at the bar that night and I'm there, game on. But everybody's always there on the digital side. Yeah. So all the fish are in the pond.
This was in D.C.
Which I guess is why people lie
20 years
that.
ago. And it was the greatest idea. And I don't think I've seen it in other cities. It was called Single Volunteers of D.C. You get together, you clean a zoo, you rake up some leaves, you dig a hill, and everyone is single. And so it's a much easier place to meet people. Right. My buddy met his wife there. I had 2 relationships from there. It was amazing. I don't know. It's such a great thing because you're doing something good.
Yeah.
You have something in common. And then this pool of people is all single.
Yeah.
They do have,
I've never seen it elsewhere.
They do have some meetup groups here in Denver that do like the mountain climbing and stuff like that. But I've just found that those haven't worked as well for me.
Yeah.
I'll just say, like, the people that you meet there, you never know what you're getting when you get there, and you don't know, and suss that out. With a profile, you can tell with somebody what's important to you. You can tell if a political leaning, if that's important to you. You can tell, if they have kids or don't, if that's important to you, that kind of thing. Like for me, it's tough. I'm 44. I'm going on 45. And I have 2 like very specific demographics that tend to swipe on my profiles. Right. Women that I think are probably a little too young in their late 20s or early 30s.
And then the Shady Pines nursing home community group.
Yeah, they're coming out of the second divorce with 4 kids by 5 baby daddies.
Right.
Figure the math on that. Yeah. And looking for the next one to step in and make them. And I'm not looking for that. Like I'm dating with intent, but I'm not looking to. Kids are okay, and that's fine. But I'm not looking for those kinds of things. So it's tougher when you get to a certain age with those kinds of things, and that helps optimize it.
Yeah. Fascinating. Like it's so weird how different it is from when I was a teenager and when I was dating and when I met my wife.
It's different from my 20s to now. Like my 20s when I came up in the early 2000s to now is wildly different.
Well, we're same generation. It's just that I've spent that whole time in one household with in one marriage and happily so. Happily so.
You've been living the dream while the rest of us are looking for the dream. So.
It's different and yet the same. I mean, it's still man and female.
Yeah.
There's still attraction. There's still differences between the sexes. The basics are the same. It's just all the window dressing is wildly different.
Yeah.
The methodology is different.
Yeah, the way you get to it. Fascinating. Well, speaking of women, let's talk about the WNBA. Pay us what you owe us. This has been a fascinating
they get
story.
A bill?
Yeah, right? I mean, they lost $40 million last year. And unlike any other type of wage earning scenario, in sports, as we know, a lot of your pay is determined on the profitability of the individual to the franchise. So it's a little weird to see the WNBA come out with a product that, look, I used to do sports commentary. I used to do play-by-play for women's basketball. It was great. It was fun. But I also did play-by-play for men's basketball. And I can tell you the biological differences are very stark. And as a result, the abilities on the floor are very starkly different. And there is not a huge amount of ratings for WNBA outside of certain demographics. And those demographics that do tend to tune in aren't necessarily the big money driver demographics. You have an interesting take on this because you're in sports today, and you can kind of give us both sides of this argument because there's always two sides to the story.
And I think both sides have fair points. Let me put it that way. I mean, first of all, if you're, I made the joke of the quip about sending them a bill because they're behind, but the reality is, let's look at it from the other side for a minute. The NBA players get 51% of revenue shared within their salary cap structure. WNBA players get 9%. Of the overall revenue that's generated. I don't think as a business owner, let's take sports out of the equation for a minute. I don't think as a business owner, because your business isn't profitable, you can't turn around and pay somebody $2 an hour.
That's a good point.
So they sort of have a point through that lens.
Yeah.
The other side of this though is they haven't made money. They've been hemorrhaging money. They're subsidized by the NBA.
Right.
And the market should determine what you're paid. If you're willing to play for this, then that's what you're worth. I'm going to be honest with you. So there are two sides to this, and I understand. The new CBA, when the WNBA comes up, it will be more equitable at that point because ratings have gone up for the WNBA.
Right.
They've started to figure out if you market personalities, people will show up.
There are some pretty awesome and unique personalities.
And you got Caitlin Clark. They've developed this Angel Reese rivalry thing.
I love that rivalry.
And everybody has a comment on it, so it's working.
Yeah.
The broadcast rights have gone up. Revenue franchises are more expensive. They're having 3 expansion franchises coming, and they're paying $250 million a piece for that, where they were hundreds of thousands of dollars just a few years ago. Yeah. So there's more money there, and it's coming. Yeah. It's just going to be the next CBA. I feel like the T-shirts are kind of a way to like play into that, but you have these people online that don't know what they're talking about with regard to the current financial situation, and so you got they're making less than an In-N-Out manager. Well, an In-N-Out is profitable. Like they can afford to pay the guy that.
Yeah,
I've seen that as well. It's amazing to me the tone deafness of what we're talking about. Listen, I've been through baseball strikes. I've been through hockey strikes. I hate them. But we all love those sports, and we've loved them for decades. They are established. They are part of the culture. The WNBA has not been that. They've been a joke for years and years, and they finally have this window. They finally have the Caitlin Clark. They finally have the personalities we're talking about. This is not the point to get on your high horse and say, we want more money. Right. This is the time to work your butt off, keep making a great product the best you can, build that trust, and say, we know we deserve better, but we're working toward it, and we can't wait till tomorrow.
And they have been a joke, and it's not been just a joke on like the conservative side. The liberals are making fun of it too. Family Guy had the best WNBA bid I've ever seen, where they do a cutaway, and it's like it's 13-9 at the half, and the announcer's sitting there, go, "This is just a testament to these ladies' skills. That's why they get paid hundreds and hundreds of dollars to do this every year."
Yes.
I think Bill Burr's been on that too.
It is in some cases kind of hard to watch, and I think both you guys made really good points. I think number one, going back to what you said, whenever there have been pro sports strikes, it has angered the fan base. And the fan base of baseball, as you point out, and football is bigger and strong enough to weather that. The fan base of WNBA is not. The other thing I would say, too, back to the point about 9% versus 51%, if all of the NBA players walked off, the amount of revenue loss that would generate for the owners of those franchises and the television rights and all of that kind of stuff, the only ones that would actually benefit with that would actually be ESPN because they would be talking about it all the time. Literally, it would collapse that industry because of the value that those players bring because of their skill on the floor. With women's basketball, I can kind of understand why it's 9% versus 51% because there's other elements that have had to go into making that a watchable sport, right? There's other elements of the story that have to be put in to market that to a point. And I would love to see their marketing budget because it's got to be pretty damn hefty. So to your point, maybe this year it's 15%. I would love to see them get to 51% because what that means is they're putting on a product that's so compelling
people are showing
that it's
up.
worth it and people are showing up. And I would celebrate their success. This isn't like a sexist thing like, oh, you guys don't belong on the court. It's get there, as you said, build it over time, earn it, and then it's going to come to you. And then if it doesn't come to you, we're all going to stand with you. If we look 10 years from now and this is an amazing product and they're still trying to give you 9%, we're all going to be right there like, pay those girls what you owe them.
And that's exactly the thing that people don't realize is the operational expense for the NBA and the WNBA is about the same.
Right.
The difference is the revenue coming in.
Yeah.
Right. So they have to spend to get the same arena with,
which is why they're subsidized by the NBA.
600 people in it versus
Right.
having 30,000. So that's the problem. But to the WNBA's credit, they have built it up lately. The ratings are increasing. They are getting better revenue deals, and I'm hoping at the next CBA they'll be able to find something more.
But here's the question, and this goes back to what you said about time, right? Okay, is it being built up because there's new personalities on the scene, and when those personalities are gone, will it go back to what it was, or have they truly gotten to the place where we need to recruit not only a player but a personality? Right. I mean, you think back on the NBA and some of the personalities that were in there, they were also great players.
Yeah.
Right. Like a Michael Jordan. And you go back to like Dennis Rodman, one of the greatest characters, right, of all time, was also the best rebounder in the history of basketball.
Yeah.
So there was an element of both skill and interest to him. You'd have to have both of that to continue, not just with one set of players.
Yeah. And
rivalries.
Clark isn't even like big and outrageous. She's just great at what she does.
Well,
And the other
what draws
people
you to
around
her
her.
is that she's being bullied by
Right.
all these other players.
But she's
and
not
then-
like an outrageous personality.
Right.
She's
Yeah.
pure talent.
Right.
Yeah.
So good that it's changing the sport
Yes.
around her. And
Yes.
then the other people come in and they.
But you need the conflict. That's what it is. You
Yeah.
need the rivalry.
gotta
Like,
have
the
the
NBA
rivalry.
took off with Magic and Bird.
Who was it
The
that stood
rivalry.
up for Caitlin Clark?
Which one? There's been a few.
Yeah, there's been a few, but there was one on her team, and
Yeah,
like,
oh, the
I ain't
blonde,
gonna lie,
yeah.
she's
Yeah.
gorgeous,
She wouldn't check,
and
yeah.
she dresses like and then it's like I'm drawn in. Oh, I watch this, right? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
A little feisty. But that's what it is. You got the Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark thing.
Yes.
People
Yeah.
picking sides. When people pick sides, that's
Yeah.
Howard Stern got this down in media.
Exactly.
Get you to pick a side, and both sides. You need both sides of them, and that's what the NBA started, or WNBA started to figure out. Hey,
Yeah.
Magic and Bird was what sprangboard us back in the day. Well,
Right.
you need to do this in the WNBA, and they found something.
Hopefully
I was a
they'll figure
huge
that out.
hockey fan, and when they went on strike, I stopped watching the sport for multiple seasons. And I was a big fan for years and years. You've got a generation right now that are just on the cusp of thinking, this sport isn't that bad. I'm in.
I might be in. Yeah,
Go on strike.
yeah, it's gonna be a problem.
It'd be devastating.
It's gonna be a problem. And don't ban them from fighting because that's why I stopped watching hockey too.
We're here for the malice at the
Here
palace.
for the malice at the palace. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for watching. I think we fixed the WNBA. We've given them a path to 51%. It's all good. Benjamin Allbright, Christian Toto. I'm Leland Conway. It's the Twisted View. Check us out.